This is the conversation. Our guest tonight is hand analyst Irina Kravtsov, which is TellByHand.com. This is, as usual, new territory for us here on the conversation. And we have explored all means of analysis, forensic evidence, all types of identification and evidence to help in determining business, judgment, trial, questions of character, and this is the science of hand analysis. We're not dealing with fortune cookies. We're not dealing with fortune tellers. Right now, Irina, our distinguished guest, our expert, is experimenting with Michael Taylor's 93-year-old hands with arthritis and can still determine with expertise several types of profiles. There is the school of peace with issues of balance, not in terms of walking. There's the school of love with emotional growth. There's the school of wisdom with turning thinking into action. And there's the school of service, the self versus others. And Irina will explain these subsequently. Meanwhile, a little bit about the news. As we mentioned the other week, there was a party of 12 Jewish civilians who came to commemorate the Holocaust of World War II, coming up soon in the Shoah at the end of April. And they visited Turkey to do so. 4 were murdered, 4 were critically wounded, 4 more were wounded by a suicide bomber who followed them to breakfast. And the ramifications have included a special team of experts from Israel that have gone out to Turkey and to explore the possibilities of further violence and further terror. Meanwhile, all families of servicemen of the American military have been called to withdraw from Turkey, especially from the large Air Force base, which is one of the largest in the world that America has. And we have a constant war going on throughout the Middle East. There was a temporary ceasefire in Yemen, and Saudi Arabia and others involved. But the 2 factions in Yemen have come to blows such that half the city is facing a starvation on an immediate basis. And then we have the explosions in Pakistan and Libya and throughout the region. The candidates have come to New York City while also going to Pennsylvania, California, as the primaries of these states, and of course New Jersey are coming close. And the Republicans are holding town halls, and as usual there are calumny and instigations of imprecations of Hitler. That does not belong in this race, in my solid opinion. No one should be using such an epithet idly. There was only one such horrible person, a horrible figure in all of history, and it should not be bandied about any more than the term Nazi, any more than the term Holocaust. These are unique appellations. And I'm sorry to see that we are getting so low down and calling bona fide candidates for the highest office in the land by the term of the lowest creature that ever walked the earth. It's not fitting. It is not proper. And it is an insult to all the victims of the Holocaust and those who survive. And as to those who survive, I mentioned previously that France finally permitted legislation to enable compensation to those who were viciously transported and tortured, and possibly death, from the Holocaust. But it turns out that from my analysis of the legislation, those who were transported and died before 1948 as a result, whether in the ovens or otherwise, may not be entitled to the compensation because it seems to begin with 1948, that people who have somehow survived all the terrors and transportation and death camps until at least 1948. So that bears analysis. So now we're going to go to our expert, Irina, who has been very busy here on the table with all kinds of utensils, magnification, fingerprint taking, ink, finger patterns with my father's hands. And Irina, I turn now to you. First explain to our audience what has been taking place and then what conclusions you may have made.
Yes.
And give some background about yourself.
Yes, my name is Irina Kravtsov, and I'm a hand analyst. I studied it for years, and it's based on science. And it's an amazing study about hands that can really reveal your life purpose, life lesson, and life school. It gives you opportunity to open up yourself and really live the life you're supposed to be. It's very simple. You need to have a handprint, and it gives you feedback about your fingerprints. Fingerprints is linked to your DNA, and based on the DNA information, you can get to your soul, and soul opens up you as a person. It gives you information that you're probably aware of, but not necessarily using it to the degree to achieve something in your life. And it's the tools that you can use in your life to become a better person, to achieve a lot. Do you want me to give a little bit information about your father? Yes, he has, first of all, he has an amazing hands, and he's in school of service. And on top of that, all his fingerprints are identical. It's rare.
Rare?
It's rare. It's not happens
Every finger
often.
is identical.
Every finger is identical, and it tells that it's a huge service. So it's not just school of service, but it's a service to humanity. It's a service in a very big way. It's usually people who give so much to the world and to the people that's why it's not that many of such people. It's rare.
That's a person who's given his whole life to service,
Yeah.
and every fingerprint shows that you've given your whole life to service.
Yes.
So
But on top of it, he's a very, very intelligent person. He has one of the best qualities. Like if somebody would ask me to find the best qualities in a hand, he has them all. And it's also
go
rare.
on. What other qualities?
So his, for example, his pinky is very strong and very long. It's much longer than it's supposed to be. So he's supposed to be very smart, sharp, and clever. And it means he's capable of making decisions instantaneously. He can get the information, digest it quickly, and makes a decision. And it's a lifesaver in some cases.
what else? Give me everything.
He is a romantic idealist. So he idealizing, and it's a positive feature that's probably keeps life going. It's a positive outlook in life. But it's good when not idealizing too much, because when you're idealizing people too much, it might not be the best. He's a multitasking person. It's called octopus brain. It means he can do a lot of different actions at the same time, like here, right, and be really great at what he's doing. Not everybody is like that. So if you expect everybody to behave like you, it's not possible. I would say from what I've seen, maybe 25% of the people I see with the octopus brain. But it's really rare and great qualities. And also, it's a person who can think for a very long time and a very deep thinker. It means you need to learn to stop and relax. He has a high achiever mark. It means he really gonna get to the end. And to help that, he has an amazing thumb. And the thumb is so big and so powerful. So really, it's called a doer hand. It's a person who not just have a high ambitions, who can really get and finish what he started. So the combination is amazing, and that's why probably you're here with us today.
93 plus.
Yeah.
What else?
Very, very energetic hands, and a lot of courage. I rarely see at that age a lot of courage. But his courage is pretty good. It's still very strong, and it's in the area of Mars. What I would say is that he needs to work on is he needs to think about himself, because I think most of his life he was thinking about everybody else. So I don't know how you're utilizing like what you want for yourself versus everybody else. So that would be a great help.
Do you see any physical?
Physical, I don't. I don't see health. The only thing I see a very, very huge lifeline, which actually is not necessarily a lifeline. It's energy line. So he was given a lot of energy, and how he's going to use the energy, it's up to the person.
And what about his past? Do you read his past? No?
No, hand analysis is nothing about past, present, or future. It's only psychology. Personal psychology versus soul psychology.
Now you have a chart here of basic fingerprint patterns. Would you please tell if any of that relates to Michael?
Whorls. He has, I can show here, it might not be as visible. It's not easy to see.
Well, you just
But
described
it's in the red. It's really the circles. All fingerprints, it's like a small circles, one in another. And that's called a whorl fingerprint. There is all 4 different types of fingerprints, and each fingerprint has a subtype. So, and in your unique case, you only have 1 fingerprint appearing on all the hands.
And that is the
School of Service.
And tell us about the School of Service.
School of Service, it's a very interesting school. It's meant a person who born to help other people. And
Born for that purpose.
Born for that, right. It's a school. Not necessarily purpose, it's going to be school, because not everybody have the same fingerprints as your father. So some people might have a different life purpose. They still going to be in School of Service, but their passion and their life purpose might be something else, but it's definitely going to involve helping everybody else. In your father's case, it's actually become his life purpose. And that's why he devotes all his life to help everybody else. It's like creating a bridge between you and the person whom you're helping. And it's not easy to create that bridge in life, because the cycle here is a desire to help, action, and feeling appreciated. And when you master it, it's like you become a master of that school. And you feel great and you feel happy. It's probably the feeling that can't substitute anything else.
Thank you.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
How do you agree? Why?
Why? It's perfect.
Is this how you saw your life?
Yeah.
Is this how you saw saving your sisters in
Yeah.
Europe from
Right.
from isolation or the
Yeah.
death camps?
Yeah.
And fighting for your family and for fellow refugees and
Right.
Jews, and fighting from Hitler,
Yeah.
and then fighting for a Jewish country,
Yeah.
and fighting for independence of Israel,
Yeah.
and then establishing homes for your sisters, refugees in there,
In Israel.
and then coming to America and forging a new life here from scratch.
Yeah.
And how do I fit in?
How do we start?
Well, they were working to put me through school.
He's a fighter.
You did fine.
He's a fighter.
He's a
Let's-
very good judge and professional, very smart.
So you got the genes.
And, I would. I wish you could analyze my hand.
We will.
See all the opposite.
No.
So do you?
He's a fighter, and as long as he has a cause, he's gonna fight.
A fighter. You see yourself as a fighter.
It's a courage.
He fought for 20 years. Did you know? I didn't tell you any of this. I purposely hid this from you.
No, the hands reveals everything, and I rarely see hands like that. Rare. Not a lot.
Do you analyze both hands?
Both hands. You need both,
and
right
they were
and left.
compatible.
It's different. It's a little different story. Right hand is more how you deal with society, with people you work in. Right hand is how you deal with society. Left hand is more personal.
But they were
They're very close, and he's supposed to be very successful in life because he has a great communication skills, very responsible, and very creative. By the way, he's a very, very creative and talented person. I didn't mention that, but I believe I wrote it somewhere. Very creative, yeah.
See, nothing but compliments.
He does.
It's a surprise for him.
The shock.
Why?
It's all true, but I didn't expect it at this age. The hands don't change over time.
Hands do. Hands do change. Fingerprints never change.
But his didn't change. This is what he
Maybe-
was always
maybe-
of service
maybe
to
it's
everybody.
No, service, yes. Service would never change. You're born with that, you die with them. Everything else on the hand might change if you change your habits.
But I
So
didn't tell you a thing about him.
I don't need to know. Usually I don't even ask a question. I can tell the whole story about the person. I might not know the experience he was going through, but I know about you a lot.
Anything you want to add?
Anything you want to ask?
Most awesome.
You want to ask Irina anything?
Well, I always was saving and people, and yeah, and up to now, I go around speaking about the Holocaust. The people shouldn't forget what happened, and it was very, very nice. And they all love me.
Yeah, because you did the great things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
he
your
was
life.
he was honored in all the states
I'm
and
sure
Israel
I would
and everything.
expect. I'm telling you, like, all fingerprints the same, it's very rare. And it's really service to humanity. That's how I see it. And it's a very small percentage of the people who's doing it.
Can you do my hand now?
Sure.
All right, let's show the audience how it's
Definitely.
done. I don't anticipate the same good results, but we'll
We'll
take a
see.
chance. And you can tell the audience what you're doing at the same time.
Yes, I'm just trying to clean up my table so we can do prints. So before I analyze the hands, it's a good idea to have prints, because using prints you can clearly see lines. Because like looking at your hand, for example, you don't see a lot of lines, you see major lines, right? So when I do the print, I might see more, depending. So if you have more lines, they're all gonna start to be visible. They're gonna magically appear, like you see. Now the lines appearing in your hand.
Is that a good thing?
It is. Yeah. Because you have fire. That's why you have a lot of lines.
I have one?
Fire.
Fire? Where?
It's a personality. Fire personality, it's a very creative personality that likes challenges, like quick results. But it needs to be inspired. That's the key. So if you're not inspired, you're losing interest. I believe it's ready to do the print. Oops, I'm sorry. So now just relax your hand and place it on the paper. And I'll just press a little bit so all the ink's gonna appear on the paper. And now you would need to relax your hand. Yep. And you see that white spot? It's telling me that you're losing energy. So you need probably to have more relaxation, like vacation, free time.
No such thing.
You need to.
I'm losing energy. Daily?
No, I feel it's more because you're thinking too much, because it's in the area where your mind is. So it's mean maybe stressing over some thinking and not maybe doing what you really need to do, which is maybe go to a vacation or doing exercise to get your energy back. Like doing too much work. So you need to slow down. And now we're doing another hand, because fingerprints needs to be taken from both hands. And fire personality is amazing personality, because I feel fire can not just need inspiration, but it actually can inspire the people. But problems with fire is that because they might lose interest too quickly, they might shift to another subject. And I would say every 3-4 years, in the best case, they want to start something else. So it's great if you can keep more focus on what you really want to do, because when you split energy into a lot of different projects, it's like placing energy 20% each in each basket. And fire is great to actually put in all the energy if they inspired in one and achieving it. Because it's like, you know what you want, I know how to get it, and I'm gonna do it. As long as you're not in School of Wisdom.
What's the School of Wisdom?
School of Wisdom, actually, it's a very good school. It's person loves to learn, but they're afraid to act. Fire might help, because fire loves action. Now we're gonna clean your
In this
hands.
hand I have energy,
On this hand you have no energy, yeah?
but I'm right-handed.
No, it's still, if there is a spot here, it's mean you're overworking. Yeah, just do like that.
What is the School of Love?
School of Love, it's very emotional people. What they really want is to connect to other people.
And then we have one more School of
School
Peace.
of Peace. School of Peace, it's people who not at peace, and their task to find balance, inner balance in their life. And meditation would be very helpful, yoga, nature, because they feel everything what happens is a crisis, and they need to overcome that, and it's not easy. So there's different techniques how you can kind of balance yourself down.
Would walking help?
Working would help. If it's in the nature, yes. If it's in gym, I'm not sure.
Is it better for those people to live an urban life, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Urban, definitely. Because it's more introvert. It's person who not necessarily needs people, who wants to just peace, quiet. But it depends what school, because sometimes person might be in one school, sometimes it might be two schools. So if you, for example, in School of Peace and School of Love, then it becomes 50-50. School of Love, it's an extrovert who can't live without people. They need people, they love partying. And School of Peace, like, no, I want to be by myself. So it might create a conflict.
Which
School
was
of
more
Love.
subject to depression?
No, depression is different. Depression is going to show up in a different line. It's more on the headline. And it's a deep thinker people. But the way they think, it's like going in a staircase down. And sometimes they go down too much. And if they don't have an outlet, it's not easy to come up. So for them, really, they need to use that information to put in writing, to create a show, to do something with the information they got. Otherwise, it's got into depression. Another key for depression, if you have a healer's mark and you're not using them to the extent that you should, depression is going to kick almost the next day.
Thank you.
So, and actually, you do have a healer's mark.
What's a healer's mark?
Healer's mark, it's a purpose. It becomes part of your life purpose. It's to inspire other people.
Do I get that from my father?
He also has them, but it's very difficult to see on a print. But he definitely has it. You might have it from your father, but you have it. It doesn't matter.
Is it something I should use?
It's something you have to use every day.
I have to use every day.
It's to inspire the people. And
That's
it's
what
like
this show tries to do.
It's like energy goes through your hand, and then it's a healing energy. It's a different type of energy. When it goes and it's getting stuck, the energy is not getting happy. It means finger's not getting happy, right, as well. Because the line's under Mercury finger, pinky, and it's at least 3 vertical lines. So if you use them, energy is happy, person is happy, there is no depression. But if you stop using it, it's not a great result. And then we need to look at your fingerprints, which I can do. Sometimes I can see it from here.
It's like looking at a skeleton's hand.
Yes, you have a great leadership skills. And I would need to look at both thumbs because they're not printing well. Can I see this? Yep. You're in School of Love.
I'm in the School of Love.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell my wife.
Yes, you're in School of Love, but you have a piece from service because usually when person have a line of healer, it's usually part of service because healer is supposed to help other people. So it's not their school necessarily, but it's life purpose.
Thank you.
So you're in School of Love.
Michael's in the School of Service, and I'm in the School of Love with the
but-
powering of service.
Yes, and your life purpose is actually it's emotional growth, and it's a love is healing. And it's also leadership. So it's a really leader in healing. So your real purpose, when I translate into everything, it's a leader in healing. It's a powerful leader in healing art.
So,
So you're supposed to transform and inspire people, become a leader, and inspire
and
people.
positive things.
Positive, very positive, yes. Leader is positive. It's a person who has a vision, who knows how to implement the vision, and inspire the people so people can follow.
So that's what we did with our organization of Blacks and Jews in Conversation under Judge Thompson and Judge Hornblass, and that's what I did with my father with Holocaust education, and my wife with arts and crafts and display and song. And do you find my fingerprints common? My father's are rare. Am I more common?
Yours is more common because there's not all fingerprints are identical.
Is there any sign of courage anywhere?
Courage is usually, yes, there is a courage right here. Courage is here. That would work.
But it's fading.
It's fading, yes.
It's
It's
fading.
not. It's not.
Not what it
as
used to
good.
be.
No, it changes because the energy. What happens when energy gets in, that particular place on the hands get more puffy.
Now, I was a musician, and my hands were very strong and calloused, but they're not so much anymore. I don't perform as much. Is that a reflection?
No, I don't think so. I think it's more when maybe you've been a musician, you had the different feelings, and you've been maybe more stronger because you have a lot of passion, and you're supposed to be a very passionate person. And that's probably was the key for your hands to be
Yes.
stronger. For musicians, usually there is a specific curves, and yet you have that. It's called harmony line, and usually musicians who perform or dancers would have that line.
And I don't have it.
You have it.
I have it.
You have it.
Well, I want to
It's-
thank you very much, and especially for Harmony Line, the School of Love, and the School of Service. Thanks. What's your school?
Service.
Service. Thank you, School of Service. Irina Kravtsov, TellByHand@gmail.com. From the conversation, thank you so very much.
Thank you. It was my
Thank
pleasure.
you so much. Thank you.